At this time, I'd like to invite Andy Calhoun to come up. Andy is a member of our board and the CEO of the YMCA Greater Charlotte.
Kurt, thank you very much. That was a perfect way to start this occasion. And this is a wonderful, wonderful occasion. And I am so honored greater than I can describe, to be able to come up here and speak about my heroes, Bill and Harriet Barnhardt, and their family. So thanks for allowing me the opportunity to do this. You know, I think for all of us, there's these few incredible people that we meet that leave an indelible mark and make a real difference in our lives. We've heard this term, the greatest generation, and I don't know of any family, any couple that we've had the blessing of walking alongside that more fits that description than Bill and Harriet Barnhardt. I came to Charlotte 38 years ago, and a little bit along the theme that you were just describing, Kurt. I heard of the Barnhardt family, and it was described in a way that made me know that they were revered in our community. They were described as community leaders, even regional leaders, even national leaders, who genuinely loved everyone, no matter what the level and role in the community. I wondered then if I'd ever have a chance to work alongside them and get to know them. So imagine how disarming it was for this young, yet wet behind the years Y guy when Bill walked up to me, and many of you have had this same experience. And he just very humbly and warmly said, "Hi, my name is Bill Barnhardt. Tell me about yourself." That's the Bill Barnhardt that we know and the one that we love. I was stunned, but I later learned I shouldn't have been. In no way, because Bill and Harriet Barnhardt are in fact the real deal in every way. Incredible leadership, wonderful love of the Charlotte community, and a wonderful love of Blue Ridge, I came to know. And a true love of people, a true love that is in fact humble and greater than almost anyone else that I know. While I met Bill early, it was actually two of their boys, Alan and Will, that I had a chance to work alongside first. Alan was a young man who just graduated from Clemson, and he led our climbing and outdoor trips for young teens and young YMCA staff leaders. He was just getting his outdoor business started at the time. Simply none better than Alan in relating to young people and teens and his ability to carry out his craft. I came to understand fully and well that this just comes naturally to him. And Will, we had a chance to open the Harris YMCA together. The Harris Y is a YMCA in Charlotte that's grown to be large and a pretty successful YMCA. And I was very blessed that Will was on our very first board. These were the pioneer years when the community didn't know enough about the YMCA, and our leaders didn't know enough about how to organize and lead a YMCA. But Will was raised up in that knowledge and was able to help to teach it. Very little on the glamour side and a whole lot on the work side. But if there's ever been a more of a deliberate and thoughtful and diligent worker than Will Barnhardt, I am looking forward to meeting that person. I came to understand in Will's case that these leadership skills came very naturally to him. After all, these boys grew up with the example in their mom and dad. Bill Barnhardt led in a terrific way for our Charlotte YMCA. He, as did his father, served as our chairman of the board, a board that's known for community leaders, not only in Charlotte area, but in nationwide. Bill led every committee and initiative in our Y over many, many years and led them well. He was one of our very first trustees elected in Charlotte. And in 1997, he was named the second of only 16 John R. Mott recipients over the years. Today, as a trustee, thankfully he stays very engaged in our Y, always interested, and no one is more supportive and encouraging than Bill Barnhardt and his so trusted life partner, Harriet. Bill has stayed and remained committed to organizations for which he has a deep love and commitment. Organizations like Myers Park Presbyterian Church, Queen's University, the Boy Scouts, and yes, thankfully, Blue Ridge Assembly. His involvement in the Y also was extraordinary in two other noteworthy ways. One is he served as the vice chair of the board of the YMCA of the USA, and even more close to home for all of us, he chaired the search committee that brought Harry Brace to the Charlotte YMCA and to Blue Ridge. I've always said that a coincidence is one of God's ways of staying anonymous. Well, what a coincidence that years ago, Bill, traveling on work, happened to be riding on that road right down there at the bottom of our hill. And he had heard something about Blue Ridge, and he was passing, and he decided just to take a side trip up here to see what was going on. It wasn't a coincidence. He was taken by the beauty, by the opportunity of this powerful mission, and then he invested. It's simply the only way that Bill knows how to lead well, thoroughly, thoughtfully, prayerfully, and strongly. And now, for more than 4.5 decades, Bill and Harriet have invested in themselves here and led, guided, worked, supported, and encouraged our Blue Ridge year in and year out. Bill chaired this board for 5 years, from 1969 to 1973, and he chaired the trustees from 1983 to 1986. And no one knows how many times that Bill was called on here to perform his signature card tricks. I know that, as an example, one of the folks that loves to talk about Bill and his card tricks is now the very grown-up George Edmiston, also a member of our board, who said that as a young boy, when his father, also a YMCA CEO, would come to Blue Ridge, one of the things that George looked forward to is coming up here and being able to talk Bill Barnhardt into doing some of his card tricks for him. And those are one of his lasting memories. And if I may take a moment of personal reflection, I'd like to share that it was some 20 years ago that I was asked to lead the strategic planning process for our YMCA. When Harry Brace asked how I wanted to approach the work and who might I ask to give key board leadership, my response was immediate. It had to be Bill Barnhardt, and he was the strongest of leaders. He understood and understands more about the YMCA than anyone. And besides, remember that one of my goals was having a chance to work alongside Bill Barnhardt. One of the things also that I would like to share in terms of Bill is the way that his father raised him to be involved in the community. And it was Bill Barnhardt that introduced his father to Blue Ridge. One of the things that upon Bill's father's death, Bill and we learned that the assembly would benefit from an endowment. It will provide dollars to carry out our mission here at Blue Ridge for kids, families, and young leaders for years, even generations to come. And later, Bill and Harriet decided to do the same thing and to establish an endowment that will help carry on this work for years and years and years to come, to have impact on so many. Simply said, Bill and Harriet's leadership in the Charlotte community and at Blue Ridge goes beyond words and measure. Let me take a moment now to read a little bit to you about some of the things that others have said about Bill and Harriet Barnhardt that even more completely just express and describe these folks as leaders and a couple. Smokey Bissell is one of our trustees of the YMCA and one of the community leaders. Bill and Harriet, this is what Smokey said about you. New arrivals to our now larger Charlotte may not fully understand and appreciate the impact that the Barnhardt family has had in building this city. And Bill Barnhardt himself has skillfully led most every worthy organization and cause in our community for over a generation. What a difference Bill and Harriet have made for all of us. From Jean Brace, that many of you know. We were sitting at our dining room table in Michigan when Harry got the call from Bill to come to lead the Charlotte YMCA. Little did we know how much that call would change our lives and change it for the better. Harry admired and respected Bill's leadership so much. Bill and Harriet are two of the finest people that I know. Joe Bransby, our very own Joe Bransby, who's been a board member for Blue Ridge since 1963. Bill has given great service, as did his father. He made possible a number of gifts from North Carolina foundations. Bill was very dedicated to the work and preservation of Blue Ridge. I highly respect him for his dedication. He's a man of high integrity and commitment that began and carried on with his father. This next one is from our George Edmiston, who wishes that he could be here with us here today. From the time that I was 5 years old, Bill and Harriet Barnhardt have portrayed to me the high character and strong qualities that I wish all people had. They are always interested in everyone and everything. They've been a big part of all of our lives. I thank the Lord for bringing them into my life. Next is from Alan Favreau, board member here since 1965. Bill Barnhardt, Joe Bransby, and I have served on the Blue Ridge Assembly Board longer than any other members, almost 50 years. Bill has served both as chairman of the board and chairman of the trustees. Under his leadership, Blue Ridge experienced many changes and improvements. The Assembly is debt-free and has never been in better shape than it is now, thanks in part to Bill's wise decisions. It's been my pleasure to serve along with Bill and Joe Bransby for all these years. Next comes from Graham Keith, one of our trustees and past chairman of the Charlotte YMCA and community leader. Bill and Harriet Barnhardt represent a family that has been involved in so many Charlotte organizations that have been responsible for the success of our city. They are highly respected as an outstanding couple who are known for their generosity and support of many Christian organizations, such as their church and the YMCA. They are truly pillars of our community. And the last one comes from Russell Robinson, also one of our trustees and one of the great community leaders. Bill and Harriet Barnhardt have been a generously important part of the community for longer than I can remember, and in a way like no other couple I have known. They have left their glad tidings on so many mountaintops like this one, the one that we honor, the folks that we honor today. So we're all gathered here today, and we know about these things about Bill and Harriet Barnhardt. We at Blue Ridge could have not chosen any more wisely than these two, and Mary as well. We know that they have integrity, class, humility, and a selfless giving that makes a real difference, and a commitment to serving others, and most importantly, Christ-centered leadership. So Bill and Harriet, it is my greatest honor on behalf of the Board of Directors of YMCA Blue Ridge Assembly and the Board of Trustees of Blue Ridge Assembly that we name this family lodge right up this hill, now the Barnhardt Lodge. I wonder if you would step forward, please, just for a moment, both of you. To commemorate this day and this celebration and recognition, we have an original watercolor we would like to present to you of the Barnhardt Lodge. This was painted by Brian Bassett and presented to you here this evening to honor and commemorate this day. Congratulations.